Magnificent record.
Lose it. Rainbow. We don't waste like a bomber. Everything I go offer. Me I no go love another. She I the mad with another. We don't waste like a bomber.
Dr. Okagbue Ekene Francis is a postdoctoral researcher at the College of International Studies, Southwest University, Chongqing, China. He holds a Ph.D. in educational leadership and management from the same institution. A prolific scholar, Dr. Ekene Francis has authored numerous books and published innovative research in reputable academic journals, focusing on areas such as engineering education, educational technology, artificial intelligence in education, and humanoid robotics in education. Dr. Ekene Francis has actively participated in various innovation and entrepreneurship competitions organized by Chinese national and provincial governments, contributing his expertise in engineering education to propose cutting-edge technologies. His project, Parker's Mobile Clinic website, designed for medical consultations for foreign students in China, received an award at the 9th OHTC Cup Global Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition in 2023. His application of humanoid robots for emotional therapy project also reached the semi-finals at the 2023 Jingyu Cup International Innovation and Entrepreneurship Project Competition, where it was recognized with financial support. As a Pan-Africanist, Dr. Ekene Francis is committed to advancing educational technology across Africa, focusing on improving quality education and supporting disabled learners. His goal is to leverage his knowledge and experience to transform African education systems through innovative technologies. He welcomes collaboration with like-minded individuals to help achieve this vision. For further insights and discussions on societal issues and innovative solutions, you can follow Dr. Okagbue Ekene Francis on his YouTube channel at Prof. Kendon 6745 and on Instagram profk_any.
Welcome to yet another episode of One-on-One with me here, Patricia, a place where we have conversations that are about empowering, inspiring, and educating. They say change is only a conversation away. And today we are coming with another conversation right here with Dr. Ekene Francis, just to come and talk about his space of work as a way of inspiring, educating, and enlightening us more. Just, without wasting much time, let me just start by allowing him to just introduce himself. Dr. Ekene Francis, you are very welcome to One-on-One, and kindly can you just introduce yourself to our audience?
All right. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. I like that. Well, my name is Dr. Okagbue Ekene Francis from Nigeria, and currently I'm a PhD, I'm a doctor. I'm currently working at Southwest University, Chongqing, China as a postdoctoral researcher, where I execute research in entrepreneurship education, artificial intelligence in education, humanoid robotics in education, and humanoid robotics in cognitive linguistics as well. So my interest in doing education technology research is to be able to bring the cutting-edge technologies in the academic community and raising such conversation, especially in African context. So my interest is just to be able to use my knowledge as educational technologist to be able to bring knowledge to African community to what has been happening in global academic community. So that's what I can say.
Oh, wow. A man of so many hats. As you were introducing yourself, say, I understand you are a postdoctoral researcher at some university in China. Maybe let's start here where you can insight us on what that means for you and how the journey getting there has been.
Well, one thing I like about China is that before you could be able to work in any Chinese university or Chinese enterprise as a researcher or lecturer, anything, they believe in excellence. Then you have to be an excellent individual. It mustn't be in academics, but have to be excellent and upright. China believes in tenacity, and they believe in you being proactive in finding some solutions, thought-provoking solutions to their companies or institutions. And me, as a postdoctoral researcher and as a staff of Southwestern University in China, I think it's an evidence of my hard work, resilience, and tenacity in academics, and also in innovation and entrepreneurship research as well. For my journey, I have an interesting story to say about my journey. This journey coming to China is started way back in Nigeria, and permit me to tell this story. And
Yeah.
when I finished my high school, I had my classmates. We were having conversation. Someone said, "Oh, which country would you prefer to travel?" We're kind of having this conversation among classmates. And someone said, "Oh, they would prefer to travel to US, travel to Canada, travel to all manner of beautiful Western countries." They highlighted a lot of them. But for me, I said I would love to travel to China. Reason being that as a kid, in my family, we love watching Chinese movies, for example, Shaolin Temple, Iron Monkey, that kind of movies. So I love the culture, and the tricks they applied in making their movies. So, and fast forward to when I got into Nigerian higher institution for my university college education. I studied in agricultural engineering and technology in Nigeria. Then in my faculty or department, the HOD then made Chinese language a compulsory course. So, and this is an interesting story to tell. And the Chinese teacher who came from China, though he has been in the country for like almost 7 years before I entered the university in the year 2010, 11, yes, thereabout. So the first time the Chinese teacher entered into our class, he spoke my language, which is Igbo language. I said, "What?" He spoke English, and also he's teaching me his language. I said, no. I was moved, I was challenged and motivated, to say the least. I told him that I must learn your language. How could you come and speak my traditional language, Igbo language, then speak English, and also you want me to learn your language? I said, I became inspired and motivated. So I started learning Chinese in my college education back home in Nigeria. So, but my classmates then, they questioned and argued the importance and benefits of this language to engineering students. But, for me, I ignored the argument or the noises coming from my classmates. So I went on learning the language. So the Chinese teacher saw the tenacity and effort I had in learning the language. So he invited me to Confucius Institute. Then we have Confucius Institute in the university. Then I enrolled free of charge without any payment. So I started putting the effort to learn the language in the Confucius Institute, and also major with my engineering education as well. So then, could you believe it, that I was later employed as one of the indigenous teachers in that institute to teach and assist Chinese teachers because of my hard work. And subsequent years, and I was selected as one of the best students to come and study in China. That's how the journey started. So I came to China because of my singular decision coming to, of learning Chinese as an engineering student. So that's how my journey started. But, if saying this story to my audience is to be able to motivate them to see that a singular decision can be able to change one's life. And since then, I shifted to did my master's, then also my PhD. Now I'm working as a university research fellow and a staff. Thank you.
Wow. That's so interesting. That's so inspiring, because I was listening to your story. I was listening to what you said and listening to your story and thinking, you know what, it's all the results of having a dream, and then having the determination, to pursue after that dream, and also the discipline to go after that dream with everything, and it all led you to being in that space in China. And now coming to another thing that I want us to talk about. Growing up, my grandmother had this saying where she would say, writers can be trusted. And I want to ask you this because you have authored a number of books, published the innovative researches that highlights your findings on artificial intelligence in education, humanoid robotics in education. I just want you to talk a bit to us about that, just the excitement, the findings, how it has been for you in that space.
Well, for ages, we have Western researchers telling our stories, for centuries, they centered on telling us ICT, digital divide in Africa, right? And they mentioned, I kept highlighting about digital divide, that is for ICTs, information and communication technologies, that Africa lacks basic technology and everything. There is high rate of digital disparities in the continent. But I think to a greater extent, they were right in their stories. If you read all their research in their publications, and they will say, yes, to a greater extent, they were right. But that singular story also inspired me to execute a study by, though I'm also as AI researcher and robotics researcher in education, I said, okay, I believe there has been a shift in this narrative. But let me first, before I could be able to condemn their research, as a researcher, you have the right to challenge a published academic article by countering it with your own findings. And to my there was a shocking revelation with the article, because for AI in education, I applied bibliometric and systematic analytical approach. This bibliometric analysis and systematic review is a data analytical approach to analyze and to execute a study and be able to reach a statistical and inferential conclusion on the study. Then I tracked the study from the year 2000 to 2021, so which is 21 years research period. So I did, because AI started getting traction. Let me say it has been in existence for centuries, but I think in early 2000s to today, it has become a very popular phenomenon, even in this 21st century. So I discovered that the leading countries in AI in education are US, Canada, Japan, China, UK, India, Germany. No African country was recorded through, because this 21 years of tracking the productivity and also the contributions of various countries. So by using the bibliometric analysis, I discovered that Africa is not in this equation. And it triggers a lot of questions for me, So I decided what might be the problem. Then I also went into the AI tools for pedagogical activities, in-class and out-class learning programs. Then I also discovered that the inventors of those AI tools were also they are from all Western countries. Then I said, okay, the findings now also revealed that the reason why Africans or Africa is lagging behind in AI is not that they are not aware of this term AI, but just that the academic instructors and the school managers and administrators, they lack the willingness, to embrace this change. Given that we have some teachers, old teachers that are still stuck in the 19th century. Then the findings of humanoid robotics in education also revealed, but in the methodology approach I used in that paper was systematic review. Then systematic review also in humanoid robotics also revealed that Japan, China, US, Canada, India, and UK are still the leading countries when it comes to robotics in education. Then the only country in terms of academic publication, the only country that through tracking system reviewed was South Africa. And South Africa is not, it wasn't an independent study. It was a collaborative study with Western countries, kind of research. But I said, okay, this is a step, is a right step in the right direction for having a country, one African country contributing to such a masterpiece of research and academic discourse. But after that, to be honest, I now went further to do further tracking beyond the years I mapped out for the study. And I realized that African countries, they have some NGOs, they have universities that are now, and research institutes. For example, South Africa has one research institute and university, Cape Town University to be precise. They have Institute of Robotics. So they are now incorporating technology in their education. Kenya, Tanzania, Nigeria, and other African countries. So you see that this story is there, but maybe in terms of publication, we might not be able to see. But when you go beyond that, you see that Africa has embraced the new change of digital evolution. We are not we've left the era of that ICT disparity, So now we are embracing the sophisticated digital and academic technology, which is AI and the robotics. And with that, I will say that is why I'm trying to tell African academic community to see that we can be able to challenge or even contribute in the field of education. Since this 21st, they call it Gen Z generation, they are also embracing this kind of digital advancements. I think this is the right time to talk about technology in Africa. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm just so hooked in a lot of things that you said. I find a lot of things that you said so inspirational, because I think I've been telling people for a couple of times now to say, we are in a time where Africa is on a rise, and if only each one of us could stand up in doing our part, we would get Africa where Africa needs to be. Africa on its own is on a rise. Only if each one of us could actually start to see the gaps and bridge the gaps. And I love how you came forward to say, you know what, this is the gap that I see, and this is the gap that I want to bridge as an individual. And maybe just to elaborate further on that, I want us to talk about your projects now, starting with one of your award-winning projects, the Parker's Mobile Clinic website. I understand it's an award-winning project. I want us to talk, maybe tell us about the inspiration behind it, and while it also how it has impacted the lives of foreign students.
Okay. One story that, or one news that every parent that sent his or her own child to study abroad is to hear that the child is sick, or let alone that the child is no longer existing on the planet Earth. So is one of the worst stories a parent will receive. Maybe you send your son or your daughter to study in America or to study in any country in the world, and you are living in another country, maybe in Africa and everything, and one day you received a shocking story, news that something has happened to your child. It is quite devastating. So I've been in China for a couple of years, and I've seen a lot of things happen. Essentially, I'm not saying that the medical institutions they are very good. But one problem that I realize here is that for international students here are afraid to go to hospital. What is the reason? Due to language barrier. So the inability to express themselves, express their symptoms, the health symptoms, the medical practitioners, makes them scared because they couldn't be able to express themselves fluently to doctors, and for them to give them the personalized treatment they really need. So, and most of them now resorted to using self-medication, and even some of them negligence, and without assessing or knowing the gravity of the sickness. So we've received a couple of sad news as well. So this preempted the initiative of this Parker's mobile clinic website. And I and my research team, we looked into that and said, can we be able to design a website for foreigners who are studying in China, and for them to be able to have educative medical knowledge on some health issues. And these medical resources were provided in different languages, French, Spanish, and also Chinese language. We also have a Chinese medical practitioner or doctor that can be, when you call the line in the website, they will be able to, give you 24/7 medical consultations, and also help you to understand the symptoms, so that if you decide to when you are going to hospital to see doctor, you can be able to tell them exactly what you are suffering from, and they will now be able to treat you properly. So that's the idea of that. And then, since the initiation of this website, many international students in China, they have benefited from it. To be honest, it has also increased or enhanced the subjective wellness of students who are using this website. Now, in this time, they are no longer afraid of going to Chinese hospital to seek medical assistance or seek a treatment from them. now they know. So with that, they can even, the knowledge they got from the website and the kind of translation, interpretation of the symptoms to them helps them to be able to converse fluently with medical practitioners here when they go to the hospital. So it has been helping. And since then, for all I can say, we've not recorded any kind of mortality, if I could use that word, so that's it. You are muted.
That's very, very interesting. That's really interesting. I love how you are showing up to, because as like I said earlier on, I find everything that you're saying very, very inspiring, in a sense that one way or the other, as Africans, we got so accustomed to the idea of talking about problems without showing up with initiatives and innovations to try and counter a problem or solve a problem. But listening to your story and listening to how, every time these things happen, and you are always inspired to come up with an innovation, an idea to solve the problem. It's really inspiring, if you ask me. So inspiring. I'm really loving the conversation we are having. We are going to go for a very short break. We'll be right back after the break to just continue on this amazing conversation.
Mike Dixon Records.
If I had to live my life without you near me, the days would all be empty.
Okagbue Villa et Ligny Amusement Park dans la province de Shandong, en Chine, offrent une zone de retraite surréaliste au milieu des paysages naturels. Cette villa offre une oasis tranquille avec des verdures luxuriantes, des ruisseaux cristallins, des vues à couper le souffle et une variété d'hébergements de luxe. Le parc dispose de pistes à roulettes, de diapositives et d'espaces thématiques. Okagbue Villa offre aux voyageurs une occasion unique de se plonger dans la beauté naturelle de la campagne chinoise. Venez vous détendre dans ce lieu surréaliste et ne manquez pas ce cadeau de vie naturelle. Plus d'informations sont affichées sur votre écran.
No matter how strong you may believe you are, a series of losses, disappointments, failures, and pain can significantly alter your perception of the world. This book aims to assist in our collective healing and prosperity. Get Unstoppable. Step into your greatness by Patricia Nkwane, a multi-award-winning speaker. Unstoppable, available on Lulu stores.
Bridgeafrique Magazine and Shanghai Showcase Afrique Company Limited is a leading business link and advertising company based in Shanghai, China. With a strong presence in the industry, we have established ourselves as a trusted partner for businesses seeking innovative and effective advertising solutions. Our team of highly skilled professionals is dedicated to delivering exceptional results and pushing the boundaries of advertising excellence. Services offered at Bridgeafrique Magazine and Shanghai Showcase Afrique Company Limited. We offer a comprehensive range of advertising services to cater to the diverse needs of our clients. Our expertise lies in creating impactful and engaging campaigns across various platforms, including print, television, digital, and outdoor media. Our services include 1. Strategic planning. We work closely with our clients to understand their business objectives and develop tailored advertising strategies that deliver maximum impact. 2. Creative development. Our team of creative professionals specializes in crafting visually stunning and conceptually brilliant advertising materials that capture the attention of the target audience. 3. Media buying. With our extensive network and industry knowledge, we negotiate the best media rates and placements to ensure optimal reach and exposure for our clients' campaigns. 4. Digital marketing. We harness the power of digital platforms to create immersive online experiences, drive engagement, and generate tangible results through social media marketing, search engine optimization, and email campaigns. 5. Event management. From conceptualization to execution, we organize and manage memorable events that leave a lasting impression on attendees and reinforce our clients' brand presence. 6. Public relations. We devise and implement effective public relations strategies to build and maintain a positive image for our clients, ensuring their brand story is told consistently and impactfully. Why choose Bridge, Afrique Magazine, and Shanghai? Showcase Afrique Company Limited. Industry expertise. With years of experience in the advertising industry, we have a deep understanding of the Chinese market and the nuances of various advertising channels, enabling us to deliver targeted and impactful campaigns. 2. Client-centric approach. Our client's success is our success. We prioritize building long-term relationships and always go the extra mile to exceed their expectations, encouraging our team members to share ideas and work together to deliver outstanding results. Conclusion. Bridge, Afrique Magazine, and Shanghai Showcase. Africa Company Limited is committed to redefining the boundaries of advertising excellence. With our unwavering dedication to delivering innovative and effective advertising solutions, we help businesses in Africa and China make their mark in the industry and achieve their goals. Contact us today to learn how we can help your business grow through powerful business advertising campaigns.
Okay, welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's one-on-one here with me, Patricia. I'm here with Dr. Ekene Francis, and we are talking about the innovative ideas that he has been having and the innovative ideas he has been putting up to solve some of the problems that we are seeing. Quite a very interesting conversation we heard, and we are continuing on that conversation. Earlier on, I mentioned that I want us to talk about the amazing projects that you do. And, you know, as a person or as somebody that is a child trauma expert and also a learning disability expert, you know, I was keen to really get to ask you about this. And I was not going to leave you without asking you about the Humanoid Project for emotional therapy and its impact in the educational space. What it's about and its impact in the educational space.
Well, you know, I always want to use story to, answer your question, you know.
And I love stories. I love stories.
Me too. And Humanoid robotics in emotional therapy, the idea of that proposal of software came by the incidence of coronavirus. And, coronavirus outbreak really affected the global citizens, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, and all that. And I and my research team, we now discovered that the impact of COVID-19 on people's mental health is quite enormous. And there will be need for emotional support after COVID-19. So it means that post-COVID-19 era is going to be tough. And you see, till today, many people or many countries are still suffering from the incidence of COVID.
The aftermath of it.
Yes. So, and I and my research teams, we realized that the human therapists we have, the percentage of human therapists we have would not be enough to support the outburst or the outbreak of emotional imbalances and mental health issues people will have after coronavirus. And that also necessitated the birth of this idea of humanoid robotics for emotional therapy. So this is how it came about. Then this project has been presented because if I want to know the effectiveness of any project, I always want to test run it, like in research. If you want to carry out a kind of a study, we would normally do a preliminary data collection and analysis. We call it pilot study. Then you do just a pilot study before you now go in depth in collecting the data for a wider audience and all that. So I submitted it for Chinese government provincial entrepreneurship and innovation competition in China here. And it received an enormous attention, to be honest. Many companies approached me, even after presenting the project, even the judges, professors, they all requested me to send them this, send them the manuscript of the proposal. They are very interested, and I believe 2 or 3 companies are also making research on this, and they also keep me updated on that. So with that, I said, okay, if this proposal received this enormous attention, that it means that it will be a very important project in the global space. And I really want this to be mass produced, not only for Africa, but for entire society, because of many people are really passing through emotional issues and mental issues, even as we also see till today. So that is the story behind this humanoid robotics for emotional therapy. Yes.
Wow, interesting. We talked about the Parker's project. We talked about the project you just mentioned, and all these projects, I'd look at them as the betterment, more especially when we look at the educational space and educational system, ways of bettering that. And I always say to people to say the future of any nation is catapulted by the stability and sustainability of its educational sector. And I'm looking at this and I'm seeing it as a way of enhancing the sustainability and the stability, more especially in our educational space in Africa. The comfort of studying abroad and knowing fully well that, health-wise, there is something that's there for me, that's guaranteed. I don't have to battle with the language barriers and everything. And then also knowing that emotionally, one of the struggles that scholars face most of the time is the struggle of mental health and mental issues, emotional issues. And maybe to ask you, sir, as an expert in all these, what would you say has been the challenges and what opportunities are there for somebody that is listening to me, you and like me, they are so inspired by everything that you've been saying?
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't tell you that everything that all these innovations and the ideas, putting them into motion, that they all came without any obstructions and challenges and all that. At times, I've submitted numerous projects to numerous professionals, companies. It was rejected, right? And it was ridiculed. Some were tossed away. Some said this project, or some of the projects, they have no substance. Yes, and one thing I always tell anybody watching me now is to never give up. And I always say, everything that existed in this planet starts with innovation. So innovation is the key. So if you really want to argue about it, you will see that it's undebatable, because of without innovation, nothing will be in existence. And the challenges are quite there for everybody. For example, we here, most of us, I think in the previous question asked me how I will need maybe assistance or something for the enhancement of the project. You see, and also linking it with this question asked me about the challenges as well. You see, here, sometimes we lack proper professionals because of language barriers, people that can be able to, like programmers, computer engineers, coders, software designers, or even some sponsors that will sponsor our projects. Like here, most of the Chinese, they'll say, oh, because you don't speak their language, we might not be able to, do anything with you. And oh, you want to, maybe you are seeking for a local programmers here, or a programmer here, or computer engineer, or they'll say, oh, because I don't know you and all that, so we might not be able to work efficiently with you and all that. So these are the challenges we encounter, but I'm not saying it's all bad. No, it's also good. Also work with some of them, also learn one or two things from them as well. But for Africa, I think it will also be better if we have people that we come from the same society, or societal, we have the same context, to be able to design something that will be suitable for our people. That is the reason why I'm investing, I'm focusing on Africa. So because I want our people, because we understand our problems, we know the peculiarities of our problem, and we know that if we are going to come together to have something like this, robotics and AI educational technologies that will enhance the education system of Africa, it has to come from us. I think we need to put an end to always listening to Western researchers and Western innovators and inventors telling us how to do things, right? So, when someone keeps giving you food, over time, it will not give you all the food that contains all the nutrients that your body system would need. So I use this analogy to say that we also need to come together. So this is also one of the challenges we are facing here. So the other question, what was that again?
The opportunities that are there as well in it.
Right. Opportunities. We see the evolution of digital technology, or in this society, there are numerous opportunities, to be honest. And one thing there is that it will bring in qualitative education system, right? If, for example, if you're using humanoid robotics as a classroom teacher, many researchers have opined that humanoid robotics are considered as an alternative to teachers. So, for example, in Africa, you can see these days, I know some African countries and also other developing countries are having high rate of teachers attrition. Teachers attrition is teachers leaving their job at the higher institution, any level of institution, for other job due to poor remuneration and poor wages, right? So now many researchers have, evinced and also postulated that such digital devices like humanoid robotics can be a replacement and a solution to teachers' attrition and poor learning system in any institution or country. So these devices can be also used to enhance quality of learning. Another one is that it has the capabilities to be a personalized learning tool, for students. For example, we like disabled learners, one of the projects that we are also trying to see to design a humanoid robotics or any learning technology devices for disabled learners in Africa. So these learning devices has the potency of addressing the needs of each or different learner's ability. The way it follows, it mimics the learning speed and capability of every student, right? If you're a very high articulative learner, it will also follow your trend and follow your capacity. But if you're a slow learner, it also has that adjustment to be able to follow you with your own speed. So that is another opportunity. It also, for another one is that having such technology in Africa or higher institutions or any institution in Africa will be able to ensure that our African students are technopreneurs. Like before we talk about entrepreneurs, now we are in the era of technopreneurs, right? In the sense that using technology to enhance entrepreneurial activities as well. So you see, not only it will create entrepreneurial consciousness in the digital market space, right? To also be able to ensure that African institutions could be able to participate in global academic discussions via technology and qualitative knowledge conveyance and other things. So I believe that beside these opportunities I mentioned, there are numerous opportunities that we can get by incorporating advanced educational technologies in our learning institutions anywhere in the world, especially in Africa. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that. As you are narrating on the opportunities, I think it's a wake-up call as well for us in Africa to say, you know what, if we can hold hands and come together in bridging and making sure that we come up with innovative ideas of solving our problems here in Africa, it'll go a long way. I really, really appreciate that. So my next question to you is, one of the things that we seem to be short of here, more especially in our African communities and society, is inspiration in a sense of role models, positive role models, yes. And maybe if I can ask you, who were your role models as you were coming to these spaces where we see you. I'm listening to you, and I'm having goosebumps all over, like just admiring the level of wisdom and intelligence and innovativeness. And I'm thinking, who were your inspirations? Who were your role models? And as well, what are you doing to ensure that you send elevators to pick more young people to this seat of innovation and technopreneurs that we want them to exist in?
All right. I will answer this question in phases because every man has, if this is your stage in life, you pass several stages before you get to the level where you are, and then you might have encountered numerous people that have poured into you positively, So for me, I think my first role models were my parents. I remember if you like this person, you are a kind of admonition this time was work in progress. My father, especially, he was my mathematics teacher. So during my primary school, I wasn't really doing well academically. So, and I remember every test, maybe every day we finished school, got back home, he would say, okay, everybody, now come, let me see what you guys did for the day. And his focus then was mathematics. So he will say, okay, why did you fail this? So why did you do the, like, after the teacher doing the corrections, did you still learn it? Then he will say, okay, if you say yes, then he will also write that mathematical question on a separate sheet and give it to you to solve. Then if you fail it, he will flog you. That then, or sometimes you say, okay, he has something like all this kind of sweet chocolate, and you say, okay, if you do it well, I give you biscuit, or you take this chocolate and all that. So this is how he trained not only me and all my siblings, and then we saw improvement during that, and also in terms of morality, my mother and all that. So at that day, even till today, they are still my role models. So it's undebatable. And as I started going into engineering and technology and higher education, and the person I would say that also motivated me as well is Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. They're Mark Zuckerberg. Because they are also into innovation and also entrepreneurship. And one thing I like about Elon Musk is that he's quite unapologetic, pursuing his passion when it comes to digital and technology and cars, automobiles, and electronic cars, and all that. So you see, I always follow his innovations, and he's also developing humanoid robots as well. So I always track his progress, and also from him, I also try to learn the new development in terms of robotics, and also to read up their functions and roles they will contribute in the society. So that one is Elon Musk in terms of innovation in technology and all that. And also Nelson Mandela from South Africa of blessed memory, also impacted me positively in through his yearnings for positive change in Africa, and not only him as well. We have J.B. Rollins, we have Julius Nyerere, we have Kwame Nkrumah, and we have they have so many of them. So they are also impacted me in a way that we really need to change African narrative. And I believe I have their spirit in me to, that's the reason why I my interest is to contribute to African education and enhancement. From my own area of research, that's what I can do. So, and I've read so many books from them, and I've seen the wonderful works they did, ensuring that Africa is one, that Africa is a progressive entity and nations. And I believe we are still work in progress as well on that. So that is it. So my advice to people that will want to be innovators and entrepreneurs, I will advise them not to give up. I'll also advise the people that I inspire for us to come together as one with our knowledge. Nobody knows it all. I don't know it all, right? So we need to come together as one to contribute for the progressiveness and development of Africa, not only in the education sector, in terms of leadership, in terms of governance, in terms of economic development, and also infrastructural development. So I believe these recent African children, they are going to do greater exploits, because now greater percentage of African children are being educated, not only in Africa, but in every part of the country in the world. We have numerous African students in US, in Harvard, in Cambridge, in anywhere, and they are doing well, contributing to academic development of those countries. So I'm saying that let us come together with our knowledge, and try to contribute to our motherland, our fatherland, which is Africa. Now, I'm not talking about Africa as maybe I'm from Nigeria that I must develop. No, we need to come together and develop Africa as a whole, as an entity, having a union for African development, where if we are from Nigeria, we can be able to, create a kind of a research team in your own angle, but we have one bigger umbrella, but also reporting back to our progress and development in our little research teams and research entities. So I believe we really need to come together. So as young innovators and African entrepreneurs, please, anywhere you find us, so whether you're in Africa or in Western countries, please keep on pushing hard, no matter how difficult it seems to be, no matter how number of no's you hear, you receive concerning your project and innovations, keep on pushing it. I believe no challenge or no problem is insurmountable. I believe that every problem has solution. The first people that discovered electricity, like the microfaradays and all that, people, and other inventors, most of them failed multiple times, but it was just, I want to get it right mentality and behavior that they later got it right. They said, Eureka, finally I got it. So I believe that we Africans, let's not be easily deceived or easily to lose hope. So I want us to, no matter what, if we believe in that cause, if we believe that Africa will be better, let's come together and fight for genuine change. And I believe that through education, innovation, and entrepreneurship, practical education, practical innovation, practical entrepreneurship will be able to transform the current state of Africa, not only in education, but Africa as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Talking of coming together, one thing that I noticed, I've been to different African countries with the projects that I've been doing on transformation, and I always tell people to say, as much as you may think we are coming from different nationals and different countries or whatsoever, our problems in Africa are so interlinked in such a way that if we can come together, it will be so easy for us to tackle them and win together, as compared to, growing up, I was taught to say a bee on its own just makes a little much of an effort, but when they come together, they do make so much of an impact. And I believe what you say, to say, you know what, if only we can learn to hold hands and to come together, we really can do so much. And talking of Nelson Mandela, it reminds me of a quote that I like by him, to say, which he says, our biggest fear is not that we are inadequate. If only we can realize our power, we'll realize that we carry so much to carry us forward. Well, thank you so much for that. I was listening to you talking about your role models, Dr. Francis, and I got to realize that often at times we are looking into our neighborhood. We are looking into somebody that can inspire me in my neighborhood, and we tend to think, okay, see, because there is no one that I know physically that is doing this, that means I cannot. But I love the fact that you even went beyond Nigeria. You went beyond to look into, the Elon Musk, to say, to get the inspiration that you need to fuel yourself, which is quite a very, very inspiring thing for our young people here, to say, you know what, find inspiration where inspiration is and go with the inspiration to fuel yourself. This is a lovely, lovely conversation we are having. Unfortunately, it has to come to an end. But before we get to wrap our conversation, I just want to ask you this question, your thoughts on Bridge Africa magazine and what we are doing, all the programs that we are doing, and how we can leverage up, especially in China, in Africa, to ensure that we thrive, to ensure that we reach to the young people of Africa, to ensure that we reach to the women, to the people that need the transformation and the insight and the information that we carry, so there could be an all-in win, both for us and the people that we have vowed to want to do good for.
Well, our Bridge Africa magazine is a very good platform, and I've come to know that it is our own, because by the name Bridge Africa is kind of bridging the gap between African and the global world and the international communities as well. So it's like an environment where, if you really want to have in-depth knowledge about Africa, you have to, come there and read their masterpiece. And I'm so elated when the manager of Bridge Africa said, we want you to tell us your story, what you've been doing for African community and African development. And I did my own personal research, and I've seen that this magazine has been doing a whole lot of positive things in growing Africa, changing African narratives, putting Africa to the global scale and to the world international community. As I've seen the collaborations between Bridge Africa magazines with other parts of world leaders, not only African leaders, but also Western world leaders. And the informations are all there. So I believe it is our own, and it has been a good representative of African ambassador of Africa, and also being that kind of a binding force between not only Africa and China, but also other countries, Western countries, and also China as well. And business collaborations also there. So for people who really want to know more about Africa, Bridge Africa magazine is the right place to come. Bridge, if you want to do business advert, Bridge Africa magazine is the best place to come. If you really want to know about education and technology about Africa, Bridge Africa magazine is the right source for it. Also, if you really want to marry get married to African beautiful ladies. Yes, I believe that, like my friend here, Patricia, so if she's not married, I believe that she's one of the bright minds of African women. You see how gorgeous she is, how elegant she is, and and eloquent she is. And she's also a member of Bridge Magazine. You see, it has the beautiful things. So, Bridge Magazine, for me, the reason why I agreed to do this is that I know that I needed a platform that will be able to tell our story better. And coming to Bridge Africa Magazine, I felt, satisfied when the host or the manager contacted me, and I'm happy being here. So, for the members or the end audience, how would they be able to contribute for the African project? I believe that all they need to do is to, one, to be available. I believe Africa, we have what it takes. We've been told countless of times. When I was growing, they said if you want to hide information from Africans, write it in a book. That's a lie. To be honest, we Africans, we have written thought-provoking articles, research books, more than even the Western world. But just that we don't have a comprehensive library and the source to be able to, showcase the masterpiece we have in terms of education and in every aspect of life. So, be available. You have what it takes to contribute to this kind of research. For example, Humanoid Robotics for Disabled Learners. This is a project I and my research team, we are trying to do for Africa. We also know that we have in Africa, I don't know about your country, Patricia, in your country, whether there is a comprehensive learning institution for disabled learners in Africa. Well, I know in some parts of African countries that disabled learners are being neglected, being bullied, and at times their parents, they lack the finances to ensure that their disabled children attend quality education. So we have African engineers, computer engineers, African programmers, coders, with qualitative knowledge that can be able to support this project. And I want them to come, to devote themselves, contact me, and so to join this movement of making Africa great and also making our education system great again. So please, we need you, we need your knowledge, we need your skills in this aspect, and also be able to disseminate this information to other Africans who have this burning desire to contribute for the progressiveness of African nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Francis. Thank you so much. It has been quite a moment of learning, and I've learned a lot. And I do believe that our global audience as well has learned a lot. There is so much that I really wanted to ask you, and I do believe you'll be able to give us another chance so we can come and dive more into all that you do. And I do believe that this is the right information, more especially for our young people out there. There is one, as you were talking, I was thinking of one Chinese proverb that I know that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years back. The second time is now. And I believe we are in our best the second time as Africa. And I do believe that if we are exposed to the right information, the right knowledge, the right inspiration, we are so ready to elevate and to thrive and to go as far as we could. And I really, really admire everything that you do. And I do believe that we would have another chance of having this conversation one more, just to ponder more on the things that you do and learn more from you. Once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and chat with us here in One-on-One.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Once again, our global listeners, our global audience, we are very grateful for you taking time to also join in and learning with us. Thank you so much, and hope you'll be joining us again on another episode of One-on-One. Bye for now.
Mike Gibson Record.
Lose it. We don't waste like a bomba. Everything I go offer. Me I no go love another. She I demand with another.